It was raining on the dirty streets of Zygon 6, a forgotten alien trade world. Smoke filled the air, loud voices shouted prices. The slave market was busy. Buyers walked from cage to cage picking strong slaves. Some aliens had sharp horns, some had glowing eyes, and some had robotic arms, but one cage. The far corner was quiet. Inside that cage sat a small alien girl. She was skinny, weak, and covered in mud. Her clothes were torn, her body was shaking. She had not eaten in days. Her skin was dry, her eyes empty. People passed by her cage and laughed. Look at that one. So dirty. Probably sick. Is it even alive? No one will buy that trash. She heard everything. But she didn't cry. She just looked down. She was used to the words. She didn't hope anymore. Then someone new walked in. A human. He was tall and looked tired. His name was David. He had a long brown coat and a kind face. He looked at the busy market but didn't smile. David had seen too much war. He had fought in alien lands and lost friends. Didn't come here to buy anyone. Just wanted to leave this planet and forget everything. But something pulled him toward the far corner. He saw the cage. He saw her. She was not like the other slaves. She didn't beg or speak. She didn't even look up. She was just sitting there, arms around her. Knees, trying to disappear. David stopped. For a moment he didn't understand why. Maybe it was her silence. Maybe it was the way the world had already thrown her away. But he couldn't walk past. He looked at the slave trader nearby. The alien was counting credits and didn't care. How much for that one? David asked, pointing to the girl. The trader laughed. That one? She's useless. No strength, no skill. Probably diseased. Take her for 10 credits if you want. Is she dangerous? David asked. She doesn't talk. Doesn't move. I don't even think she knows her own name, the trader said with a shrug. David looked back at the girl. She hadn't reacted. Like she didn't believe anyone could want her. He sighed. All right, I'll take her. The trader handed him the key. She's all yours, human. Don't blame me if she dies tonight. David opened the cage slowly. The girl didn't move. She just watched him with tired, half-closed eyes. I'm not going to hurt you, he said softly. She didn't believe him. She flinched when he got close, but she didn't run. She didn't have the strength. David took off his coat and gently wrapped it around her. She was cold. It's very cold. Let's get you out of here, he whispered. People stared as David walked. Out of the market, with the dirty alien girl in his arms, some laughed. Some shook their heads. Humans are strange, one alien said, but David didn't care. Back at his small ship, David placed the girl on a clean bed. She still didn't speak. She kept her eyes on the ground. David brought her food and water, but she didn't touch it. He didn't push her. He just sat nearby and waited. Later, he brought a towel and showed her the shower room. She looked at the running water with fear. Maybe she had never seen hot water before. Maybe she thought it was a trick. David didn't say anything, just pointed to the clean clothes and stepped out, giving her privacy. For a long time, nothing happened. Then, it's the sound of water. The girl was inside. The water washed away dirt, blood, and pain. Her skin was soft under all the filth. Her face, she was young, maybe 16, maybe less. Inside that shower for the first time in her life, the girl didn't feel like a slave. She felt something new. Warmth outside the door. David waited. He didn't know who she was, where she came from, or what had happened to her. But he knew one thing. She deserved better than a cold cage and cruel laughs. He didn't rescue her to own her. He rescued her because no one else did. And that made all the difference. Asterisk, the small alien girl sat in the corner of David's ship, clean now, but still shaking. The hot shower had removed the dirt, but it didn't remove the fear. She wore fresh clothes, too big for her. She hadn't spoken a single word. She didn't ask why David had bought her. She didn't ask where they were going. She just sat, silent, watching. David didn't push her. He gave her space. Food, water, a blanket. She didn't touch any of it for hours. That night, as the ship floated through space, David watched her from the control room. "Why won't you sleep?" he whispered to himself. She was sitting up, eyes open, staring at the wall. David walked in slowly. She didn't move. He sat on the floor across from her. "I'm David," he said gently. "Do you understand me?" "Nothing." He tried again. "Do you have a name?" The girl blinked. "Once," but no answer. David smiled a little. "Right. If you don't have one, I'll call you Lena. Just until you tell me the real one." She looked at him, just for a second, then looked away. The next morning, David made something simple, warm soup. He placed it near her bed. This time she smelled it. Her stomach growled loudly. But still, she didn't reach for it. David didn't say anything. He just walked away. No force. No shouting. After 5 minutes, she took the spoon. Each bite was slow, careful, like she thought someone would hit her any second. But no one came. She finished the bowl and, for the first time, looked up at him. David gave a soft nod. Better. Still no words from her lips. But something changed in her eyes. Not trust. Not yet. But something like curiosity. Later that day, Lena walked slowly around the ship, bare feet, cautious steps. She touched the wall like it might bite. She looked into every room with wide eyes. She found a window, saw stars moving slowly outside. Her mouth opened. A little, maybe she had never seen space before. David didn't follow her, he just watched from a distance. She needed to explore, to feel free. In the sleeping quarters, she found an old photo David with a team of soldiers. Everyone in the picture looked strong. Except David, he looked sad. Even while smiling, she put the photo back without a sound. That night, Lena had a nightmare. David woke up to screaming. He rushed in and found her shaking, crying, hiding under the bed. "No, no more chains, please." But David didn't touch her. He just knelt beside the bed. "You're not in the market anymore," he said softly. "You're safe here. No one will hurt you." She kept crying, but softer now. "I won't chain you. I won't sell you," he added. "Even if you never speak, even if you hate me, you are safe." A long pause. Then, "A whisper, Lena," she said, barely audible. David froze. He turned his head slowly. "You said." "Lena," he repeated. She nodded weakly, tears on her face. "Okay," David said gently. "Lena, it is." But someone else was listening. Away, on the edge of Zygon 6's airspace, a dark ship picked up a signal. They had tracked a strange purchase, an old soldier who bought a slave no one wanted. The signal was weak, but the DNA signature wasn't. "She's alive," a deep alien voice growled. The screen blinked red. "Activate the hunters. We want her back." Back on David's ship, Lena finally slept. Really slept. Not just with her eyes closed, but with her body relaxed. Like she was safe. David sat nearby, reading an old book. He didn't know her story. He didn't know her pain. But he knew one thing. He would protect her, even if it meant war. The next few days on the ship were quiet. Not cold, not warm, just silent. But silence was better than fear. Lena stayed close to the walls. She didn't run away anymore. She watched David from a distance. He never yelled, never locked any. Doors never touched her without asking. For the first time in her life, someone gave her space. One morning, David placed a small box in front of her. Inside it was a simple necklace, made from old wires and a tiny blue stone. "It's nothing fancy," he said, "but I made it for you." She looked at it, confused. "You don't have to wear it," David added quickly. "It's just yours, no one else's." Lena touched it gently, then held it close to her chest. "Why?" she whispered. David looked up, surprised. It was the first full word she had spoken. "Because you deserve something that belongs only to you," he said. Lena looked down at the necklace, then up at him. Her lips moved slowly. "Lena," she whispered again. That night, they sat near the ship window. David showed her old photos, his team, his planet, his dog from Earth. Lena didn't speak much, but she listened. At one point, she pointed to the stars and said something in her language, soft, almost like a song. David turned to her. "Did you say she looked nervous?" Then spoke slowly. "My real name is Saralvan." David repeated it carefully. "Sarah Levin, that's beautiful." She smiled, a small, broken smile. "But Lena's okay," she added. David nodded. "Then Lena it is. But peace doesn't last long, not in space." On the outer screen, a small red light blinked. "Incoming ship detected," David checked. "The radar. Unknown ID. Not from this system. It's not friendly." He moved quickly. "Lena, go to the lower room, now." She froze. "What's wrong? I don't know. But I don't want them to see you." She nodded and disappeared down the hallway. David opened communication. A cold, robotic voice replied, "Human vessel. You are carrying unregistered cargo. Prepare for inspection." David kept his voice calm. "This is a personal transport. No cargo on board." The screen went black then. They started docking anyway. Inside the ship, Lena hid under the floor panels. Her body trembled. Her fingers dug into the metal. She knew this feeling. She had felt it before. The humming sound of them. These weren't inspectors. They were hunters. The same kind who had taken her people. The same ones who put her in a cage. David met them at the entrance. Two tall aliens in black armor. Eyes glowing. Guns ready. "Step aside," Human One said. "You don't have permission to search this ship." David said, "We do now." They pushed past him. One of them scanned the hallway. Life form detected. Female. Below deck, David moved fast. They were faster. They opened the floor panel, and there she was. Lena screamed. The hunter smiled. "Found you, little..." "Air." David pulled his weapon. "Leave her alone." The aliens didn't flinch. "You don't know what she is, Human. She's dangerous." "She's a girl," David said. "That's all." They raised their guns. But suddenly, Lena's eyes glowed blue. The lights in the ship flickered. The hunters froze. "What? What is she doing?" One shouted. Lena floated slightly off the ground, her voice deeper now. "I, not yours." "Anymore?" A wave of energy blasted from her body. The two hunters hit the wall, unconscious. Lena fell to the ground, breathing hard. David rushed to her. She was shaking. He held her gently. "What was that?" he asked. "I don't know," Lena whispered. Later. They locked the hunters in the ship's cargo hold. David sat with Lena, holding a warm drink. "You don't remember?" he asked. "I remember. Pain," she said. "Tests, chains, screaming then." "It thing," he nodded. "I think they were. Trying to hide what you are. Maybe even from you." Lena looked at her hands. "I was dirty, useless. That's what they told me." David looked at her. They lied, but far across the stars. Command signal was sent. "The air has awakened. Begin phase 2. More ships, bigger, faster." Headed their way, asterisk, boom, boom, boom. 3 hard knocks echoed through David's small ship. It didn't sound like a normal visitor. It sounded like a warning. David froze at the doorway. Lena, sitting in the back room, dropped the cup in her hands. It shattered. "It's them," she whispered. Her voice was full of fear. David placed a finger on his lips, signaling her to stay hidden. Then slowly, he opened the door. Outside stood a government patrol, 2 humans and 1 alien officer. Their uniforms were perfect, their faces. "Cold, sir," the alien said, scanning the room with sharp yellow eyes. "We received a report. Someone saw you at the market. Said you took an unregistered alien female." David crossed his arms. "So what?" "I bought her legally. She's not on any registry. Means she's either illegal or escaped from somewhere." David didn't answer. The officer stepped forward. "Where is she?" "She's not a prisoner," David said. "She's resting?" The alien officer smiled, not kindly. "Step aside. We'll confirm that." Suddenly a sound came from the back room, a soft crash. The officer's smile widened. "Thank you," he said, and pushed past David. They reached the hallway and stopped. Lena stood there, wearing the necklace David gave her. Head low, hands behind her back. She looked like a child caught in trouble, but her eyes were different, not scared. Not empty, they were angry. The alien raised a scanner. It blinked red. "Confirmed," he said. "She's a biological class. Anomaly. Hidden bloodline. High-level threat." Lena didn't move. David stepped between them. "She's not a threat." "She is," the officer replied. "To the wrong people." David looked confused. "What does that mean?" The officer leaned in. "She's royalty. Human. Not from any planet in this system. She was hidden, probably stolen, and you've just made yourself part of a galactic mess." David's heart sank. Royalty. She was just a scared, dirty girl in a cage, wasn't she? Lena slowly stepped forward. "Didn't ask to be born," she said softly. "Didn't ask to be hunted." The alien officer raised a small stun weapon. "We'll take it from here." David stood taller. "She's not an object. She has a name. Lena." The officer looked annoyed. "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." David smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "I've never liked easy." Sudden flash. David moved fast, pushing the officer's hand aside. The stun shot missed. He grabbed the weapon and hit. The second officer with it. Lena screamed, but not in fear, in rage. The lights in the room dimmed, her body lit with a faint blue glow. The third officer froze. "What is she?" Boom. An energy pulse knocked all 3 patrol members unconscious. The ship's alarms blared. Someone would have heard that David looked at Lena. She was breathing hard, glowing less now. "You okay?" he asked. "I didn't mean to," she whispered. David placed his hand on her shoulder. "I don't care what they say you are. You're staying with me." They dragged the bodies into the back and tied them. David activated the ship's stealth mode. "We have to leave this system," he said. "But where will we go?" Lena asked. David paused. Someplace no one would think to look. But first, he opened a secret panel under the floor, revealing an old locked box. Lena watched as he opened it. Inside was a small badge, a photo, and a chip. "What's that?" she asked. "My past," David replied. "And maybe your way forward." He inserted the chip into the console. It loaded a secure route, one only military ships used. "We're going to the edge of the galaxy," David said. "But what's there?" Lena asked. David looked at her with a serious face. "Answers far across the stars." A dark chamber lit up. Dozens of powerful beings sat around a round table. "She has awakened," a voice said. "Then the prophecy may be true." Another added, "And she's with a human. Send the collector. Bring her alive." Back on the ship, Lena looked at David. "Why are you helping me?" she asked quietly. David took a deep breath. "Because when I saw you in that cage, I saw myself. Alone, lost, unwanted." "You're not alone anymore," Lena whispered. And this time, she smiled first. Space stretched like black ocean all around the ship. Stars blinked quietly in the distance. But inside the small ship, something was changing. Someone was changing. Lena sat on the cold floor of the ship's medroom. Her hands were glowing again. But this time, it didn't hurt. David stood nearby, watching her carefully. He had seen many strange things in war. He had seen machines grow from blood. He had seen planets explode from silence. But he had never seen a scared girl radiate with power. That could crush metal without even touching it. "Does it hurt?" he asked softly. Lena shook her head. "No, but it feels like something is waking up inside me." She closed her eyes. "I don't remember learning this. I don't even know what this is." Her hand sparked blue, then stopped. David sat down beside her. "You said you were kept in a cage for years." She nodded. "They tested me, hooked wires to my skin, whispered words I didn't understand. Every time I screamed, they smiled. David clenched his fists. Whoever did that, he wanted to break their faces, but he stayed calm for her. Do you remember anything about your people? Lena paused. I remember a room, very white, warm hands, a woman singing then. Fire, screaming, running then, cages. She looked up. I don't think I ever knew my home. David stood and opened the screen on the console. He pulled up the secret file from his chip. There's something I didn't tell you, he said. I wasn't just a soldier. I worked on special missions, classified ones. Lana walked over. Her eyes widened. That's me. A younger version of Lena, covered in medical wires. Sleeping in a tube? David nodded. This is from 10 years ago. You were labeled as a bio-threat by command. A possible weapon. Lena stepped back. A weapon? David turned to her. But I think they were wrong. I think you were just different. And that scared them. Just then, the ship's warning system beeped. Tracking signal found. David's eyes widened. They tagged the patrol team. He rushed to the screen. A red dot blinked. It was closing in fast. Fast. Very fast they found us, David said. And this time, they brought more. Outside the ship, through the front window, they saw it. A dark cruiser. Black. Silent. Bigger than 10 of their ship. It didn't send a message. It didn't speak. It just waited, like a hunter watching its prey. Lena's hands began to glow again. I feel something inside that ship, she whispered. It's like it knows me. David looked at her. Can you stop it? She shook. Her head. Not yet. David didn't waste time. He jumped into the pilot's seat. Then we run. Engines roared. The ship jerked forward, fast through asteroid fields. The cruiser followed, slow but steady. Lena held onto the seat, her body shaking. I think they're trying to pull me out with my mind. David gritted his teeth. Block them. Don't know how. David looked back at her. Then trust me. Focus on my voice, not theirs. She stared at him. Everything else went quiet. Just his voice. Breathe. You're not a weapon. You're not a slave. You're Lena. Her body stopped glowing. The ship's system calmed. She nodded once. Okay, but the cruiser wasn't done. It launched a graviton net, a glowing web of energy it wrapped around. David's ship like vines. The engine groaned. We're not getting away, David said. Lena stepped forward. Open the back door. Trust me. David didn't argue. He hit the release. The back door opened into space. Lena stepped out, wearing no suit, no helmet, just glowing skin. She floated in the dark. Facing the cruiser, and then she screamed. But not with sound, with light, a shockwave. Shot from her body, crashing into the cruiser's front shields. The entire enemy ship glitched. Lights exploded. Engines failed. It drifted. Lena collapsed. David pulled her back in. She was breathing. Barely. You saved us, he said. I didn't know I could do that, she whispered. David smiled. There's a lot you don't know yet. He looked at her seriously. But we're going to find out. Together, far away. In a throne room made of glass and smoke, a shadow stood. She used the voice. It whispered. Another figure replied. Then the lost princess is waking up. We must move before she remembers everything. Back on the ship, David wrapped a blanket. Around Lena, you're not a weapon, he repeated. You're something more. Lena closed her eyes, and for the first time, she dreamed of stars, not cages. Asterisk, the planet looked the same. Zygon 6. Dark skies. Dirty streets and the same stench of oil and pain. But Lena was not the same. She wasn't shaking anymore. She wasn't hiding behind David's coat. She walked beside him now. Hooded, yes, but strong. They had come back to the place where she was caged, not to relive the past, but to face it. David adjusted the settings on his wrist screen. This chip holds proof, slave trader data, illegal transactions, DNA scans, of what they did to you. He looked at Lena. You sure you're ready? Lena nodded. Her voice was soft, but steady. They need to see me. Not broken, not dirty, but alive. They entered the market during peak hours. Crowds of aliens shouted for prices. Some slaves were on display again. Same cages, same cold lights. Lena's eyes scanned the area. There the cage. Her cage, still there, still empty, still stained with her blood. Her hands trembled. She didn't stop walking. Behind a tall desk sat the same slave boss who sold her. A wrinkled creature with 4 eyes and a mouth that never smiled, David. Stepped forward. We're here to make a trade. The boss didn't look up, named the item. David dropped the data chip on the desk. The boss finally looked up, then froze. He recognized her. You, he hissed. You were supposed to. Be gone? Lena said. Dead? Forgotten? She stepped forward, pulled off her hood. Gasps from nearby aliens. Some moved away. Her glow had returned, soft, not violent. She's the girl from Sector 5, someone whispered. The glowing one, no, she's not a slave anymore. She's one of them. The boss stood up fast. You're making a mistake, human. That girl is dangerous. You kept her for a reason. David stepped between them. No. You kept her because she was rare and powerless. He pushed a button. The data chip screen lit up, showing secret market files. Like a black market deals, experiments, and blood records. David looked around. This entire place runs on pain. And now we have proof. Some buyers stepped back. Others started recording. The boss shouted, "Shut it off." But it was too late. The system was connected. Every screen in the market showed the truth now suddenly. Alarms. Red lights flashed. He called security, Lena said. David pulled her back. We need to go now. As they ran, gates slammed shut behind them. Guards in black armor followed with plasma rifles. Lena turned in the hallway, raised her hands, but didn't attack. Instead, she spoke. I am not your property. The walls shimmered, and then the lights exploded. The guards fell to their knees, holding their heads. Lena didn't touch them. Her voice alone made the system bend. They reached the exit. Outside, a small ship landed, old, rusty, and loud. A figure stepped out, female. Red cloak, robotic arm. Get in. She shouted. David pulled Lena aboard as they lifted off. The market behind them burned, not from bombs, but from truth. Lena looked down through the window. Goodbye, she whispered. Inside the ship, the red-cloaked woman turned around. Her eyes scanned Lena's face. You're the lost one, she said. Lena nodded. I think so. The woman removed her hood. Her face was old, scarred, but full of pride. I'm part of the resistance. We've been searching for you for years. David looked surprised. Resistance? The woman smiled. She's not just rare human. She's not just royalty. She's the key. David blinked. Key to what? The woman whispered too, ending everything that enslaved us. Lena sat down. Her hands no longer glowed. She was tired, but not broken. David sat beside her. You're okay? Lena leaned her head on his shoulder. I don't feel dirty anymore, he smiled. That's because you're not. Far away, in the dark void between galaxies, a single eye opened, made of metal, light, and rage. She has returned, said a voice. Then begin the hunt, another whispered. The stars passed quickly outside the ship's window. Lena sat quietly, her eyes reflecting galaxies. She had escaped the cage. She had escaped the shame. But now, bigger truth was coming. The woman in the red cloak, the resistance leader, stood at the front. Lena, she said softly, we need you to remember who you are. Lena looked confused. I don't know anything. David placed a hand on her shoulder. You don't have to be someone else. You're already enough. But the woman shook her head. You're not just one girl. You are the last of the Saren. The name echoed in Lena's mind. Saren, a race of energy beings, kind, powerful, long believed extinct. She had read about them once in an old book on David's ship. You're saying, I'm not dirty. I'm royal. The woman smiled. Royal by blood. But more important, you're free by choice. Suddenly the ship jerked. Red lights blinked. David jumped up. What was that? The woman checked the panel. They found us. A giant dark ship had entered orbit, shaped like a blade, glowing red. The symbol on it. The same brand once burned on Lena's back. The Enforcers. They had come to take her again. David grabbed a blaster. Lena stood up beside him, but the woman raised her hand. No, if we fight now, we all die. She turned to Lena. There is one way. You must choose. Lena frowned. Choose what? The woman held out a silver orb glowing softly. This orb holds the memory of your people, your real power, your full form. David stepped forward. If she uses that, will she still be her? The woman hesitated. She may not remember everything. She may become something more or something else. Lena looked at the orb. She could feel it calling to her, warm, like a heartbeat. She looked at David. Will I lose you? Smiled sadly. You'll never lose me. Even if you don't remember my name, I'll still find you. Outside, the Enforcer ship opened fire. Lasers blasted near the hull. Lena took the orb. Her hands shook. Then she pressed it to her chest. A shockwave of light passed through her. She gasped. Memories. Poured in, of forests glowing blue, cities in the sky. Laughter in a language she never spoke. Her skin glowed. Her eyes turned. Bright silver. She floated inches off the floor. David stepped back, eyes wide. Lena. She looked at him and smiled. The Enforcer ship prepared to board. But suddenly, the Resistance ship glowed from within. A pulse of white light erupted, blasted out in all directions. The enemy ship stopped, froze, then cracked like glass, and vanished. Inside, Lena fell to her knees. She was still glowing, but now she looked calm. David rushed to her. Lena, she's still you. She opened her eyes. I remember everything. I remember being Lena. I remember being more. David laughed with relief. I thought I lost you. She held his face gently. You found me in the dirt. You gave me soap, food, and a name. Tears fell down her cheeks, not from pain, but peace. I will never forget you, David. Later, as the ship cruised toward the stars, Lena stood. On the deck, she was not a slave, not a nobody, not broken. She was something new, not just the last Saren. She was the first of a future. David joined her, holding 2 mugs of warm tea. What now? He asked. Lena smiled. We rebuild, help others. We find the forgotten and give them names. David raised his mug. 2 dirty aliens. Lena laughed. 2 hot showers and second chances. They clinked mugs far across the stars. Hidden Council watched. She has awakened. One alien said, Then the prophecy is true, whispered another. The slave who would become the light.